Fantastic. Thank you for that. And thank you, Teo, for that. That's a global release. That report link, if you missed it, it will be sent to you this evening on email. Everything was recorded, so if you missed the scan, you can speak to the Embraer team. If you're on the press release, you'll get that as well. And you will get it tonight in your email from me as well. But thank you for disclosing that. Some really exciting opportunities that sets the scene for the meetings that are going to take place today and tomorrow. So can your airline, can your airport benefit from some of that research? Because it's so exciting, this low-hanging fruit that's right there in front of us. Let's make it happen. Right, our next panel is all about the impact of AI on aviation. We couldn't do a conference without talking about AI. And we're super excited to guide you through this and to explore this unknown future. It's something I've been dabbling in a little bit. Those of you who follow us on social media have probably seen that. And we're joined by somebody who's been a trailblazer across the industry and beyond. So I thought she'd be the perfect fit for a session like this. Refilwe Ledwaba is a valued Aviadev Advisory Board member for the last 7 years, somebody who's always hungry to learn, adapt, and implement new technologies. I'm not going to give you the full bio. We'll be here all day. If you want to know that, you can find that on the website. But Refilwe, please, over to you. Come join us. Big round of applause. Thank you. We'll go.
Thank you, John, for the warm introduction, and good morning, everyone. So normally when I prepare for a session like this, I invest weeks in research, have discussion with the panelists, so I can craft, sort of kind of like a nice session. But I thought since the topic revolves around AI, why don't I utilize the technology to assist me in the preparation? So I tend to ChatGPT. I think most of you are familiar with the technology. So I gave it few prompts. So I put in the session, and I said to ChatGPT, can you give me the most impactful introduction that will make me sound like Sam Altman? So for those of you that don't know who Sam Altman is, he's actually the CEO of ChatGPT, OpenAI. So I further gave it prompts, and I said, given the profiles of all the panelists, what questions should I ask them? So the whole preparation now took me about 10 minutes, not 3 weeks. So while the content was impressive, it had a distinct robotic tone and lack of authenticity. So while I had the introduction that was very impressive, it didn't sound like human-like. But I also found out that there is another AI tool that you can apply that can make you sound human-like. But I opted instead for an interaction where I can engage with my panelists and do a little bit of research, so I decided to chuck the AI away. But I did leave one question that was generated by ChatGPT, and that question will now appear now. It's for you guys. I haven't seen it. For the poll. Okay, so while the question is coming up, I'm going to call my panelists. First, I would like to introduce Judy Waruiru, the Regional Managing Director at Network International. With over 20 years in the aviation industry, Judy has expertise from fintech, airlines, startup, media, and technology. And Judy provides a unique perspective on the industry's convergence of AI and digital payment solution. Judy, if you can please join me. Next, we have Hassan. Hassan is the brand ambassador of Hitit, a company providing IT solution for airlines. And with over 20 years of experience in the aviation and aerospace industry, he also brings a wealth of knowledge to the discussion. Okay, and next we've got Bharat. Bharat is the Senior Vice President of Airline Passenger Solution Practices at Revenue Technology Services, and he boasts over 24 years of extensive experience in the airline revenue management. So his insight will also bring a wealth of knowledge on the impact on AI on revenue management. If you can please join me. So finally, we have Martin Gitonga, the General Manager of Digital Brand and Marketing at Kenya Airways. And with over 18 years experience in the aviation industry, Martin has held very significant position. So he's going to bring the airline perspective to the panel as well. Okay, so this is what AI gave me. What do you believe is the single most important enabler for sustainable growth in the aviation over the next 5 years? Okay, so that's the question for you. Okay, so before we explore artificial intelligence and its potential impact on the aviation industry, I think it's also important to kind of take a step back, because a lot of people don't really understand what AI is and what is its potential and capability. And Bharat, I'm gonna start with you, right? I just wanna bring you in just to briefly share, what is AI? Its evolution, but just also highlighting some of the key development of the technology.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. So first of all, AI is not an enemy. Obviously, when it applies responsibly, it can really help, simplifying the complex things into clarity, right? And at least from aviation Africa perspective, I would say that it's not just a technology leap, first of all. It's actually a strategic shift, basically, right? And now the question is how we can transform, our industry using AI in more responsible and more, effective way, basically. So that's from the AI, whether it's an enemy or a friend. I would say it's a friend, right? Depending on how we use it.
Elaborate more from the evolution from like kind of like a simple system to like a more complex system, just so we can set the scene.
So how do I define what is AI? I would say AI is a technology which can help, process something in automatic or some of the tasks in automatically or automatic way, so that, which can emulate basically human intelligence, like a pattern recognition or forecasting or more, traditional way of processes on the, aviation industry. In terms of transformation of AI, I mean, it has evolved progressively from rule-based fair filing business rules into, let's say, more complex AI technologies like neural network for continuous pricing or explainable AI for the auditing or commercial accountability, basically, or other different aspects of the industry, basically. Process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bharat. Judy, I just want to bring you in. What does this evolution mean for the industry, specifically when we look at payments?
Thank you, Refilwe. I think when it comes to payments, it's very important in the sense that when it comes to fraud detection, AI is leading in that space, where we are moving away from rule-based to predictive analysis, behavioral tracking, and we are able to stop fraud before it happens. And what this does is it saves the airline the cost of fraud, the cost of chargeback in real time. Whereas before, if we picked a fraud pattern, we would had to go and change the rules manually. Today, AI is picking behavioral patterns within transactions, and it's able to quickly predict that there's an anomaly in a transaction, and it's able to quickly cancel. So what we're seeing is better conversion rates because AI is more accurate than the human touch. So we're able to get better. So a customer who was paying who would have been blocked before is now able to complete a payment. And also a customer whose fraudulent transaction or fraudsters who are trying to book on an airline website to buy a ticket fraudulently, they're able to be blocked because then AI is quickly intelligent to pick that. Another area we are seeing AI helping in the fintech sector is on credit scoring. So before, you had to have a bank account, you had to be a banked for you to access loans. Today, with just your mobile money wallet, with AI predictive scoring, we are able to tell how much credit you're worthy. You don't really need to have a bank account. You're able to tell even a business, a small business, how much they're able to get in terms of credit because of AI. So it's able to collect data from different facets and just not the traditional data places that we had. And you'll see these also playing in the buy now, pay later options, which we are now implementing as a checkout space for in airlines. So for buy now, pay later, when it comes to payment, AI is used to tell, is this customer or this passenger qualify for credit to check out of the airline page, or they don't qualify. So AI is helping businesses and airlines make more money and save on costs when it comes to fraud.
Thanks, Judy. And while we're talking about money and payment and saving costs, I'm just going to go back to you, Kumar. I mean, revenue management is critical, right, in that, especially the health and sustainability of the airline. So what does this evolution mean for revenue management?
I mean, AI is helping commercial aviation or revenue management within commercial area in many different ways, right? And I will just highlight three different, possible key areas. For example, a continuous pricing, right? I mean, from more traditional based static fare buckets to, unlimited number of fare booking classes. That is one of the very key aspect of airline industry where, AI is helping. The second one, I would say that more accurate demand forecasting. For example, today we just, or traditionally or historically, we used to rely more on the historical data, ignoring or not having the more, real-time data like, let's say, events happening or any kind of, pandemic kind of situation. So in this scenario also, how AI is doing is it's really helping providing more accurate demand forecasting results, right? And the third major aspect of it is offer management, right? Or offer optimization, basically. So AI is not just helping in terms of prices, right? It also helping airlines to do, let's say, offer building in terms of loyalty, CRM or perks or ancillary management and different others, like payment also is part of it, right? And how you package them together, that is how, AI is helping. So these are the three key aspects where in the revenue management perspective, AI is helping industry.
Hassan, I would like you to also weigh in. I mean, your company offers multiple solutions from, accounting systems, operation, and, how have you integrated AI into those systems, and what is the impact?
Yep. Thank you very much for the question. So, again, to complement what was said here, AI enables existing systems to do different things, yeah? Let's start with the basic one. Create a unique customer profile. Yes, so you have your customer, not loyalty member. Most of your customers are not loyalty members. And you need to know that that person is me. And because my company booked my ticket, tomorrow I book my ticket, maybe my father books my ticket, you need to know that that's the same person, no matter what the payment was, etc. And the reason for that is that then, this is where you leverage AI, you get that person, you get their personality, and now you can start doing things like offering them better tickets, packages, whatever it is. On the reverse side, if you have tried Qatar Airways recently, I think they are the first ones to have AI-enabled trip planning tool, like a chatbot. So you can do that also on the other side. Now you know who I am, you can do on the other side the same thing and offer more. That's one aspect. You can do the same thing like was discussed, pricing, etc. Now let's go further. Within customer services, again, the same story. You are taking care of your customer, you know who that person is. when your customer service agent calls or gets a call, right away they know, oh, I know this person, and I know what they spent, and I know how to treat them, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go even further. Within your systems that you use today, schedule management, operational planning, et cetera, we are currently actually working, for example, that's going to be available soon, on what I would call preventative disruption management. Again, so what does that mean? So that means I have flights, maybe at that airport, at that station, when the weather is bad, I always get 30-minute delay or whatever, and I need to have a standby crew. Yeah? So instead of the usual way we're doing it today, this will actually tell you beforehand, give you a probability so that you are able to decide better. So these are roughly all the areas where we think AI can help with its ability to crunch a huge amount of data. So it basically is as if you hired an army of 10,000 super intelligent data analysts. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Hassan. And now let's consider the implication for passenger. And I want to bring you in, Martin, from an airline perspective. What do these advancements truly mean for travel experience for the passengers? And is it what the passengers are looking for?
Yeah. Thanks, Refilwe. I believe the part I play in this whole is just translating the jargon into what matters to the customer. So what do you end up seeing as a result of all these AI and futuristic improvements? From Kenya Airways and from our customers, so what you end up seeing first and foremost is the predictive ability. That means from customer service handling, you have more intuitive chatbots. We have more automated responses in terms of how do we manage the queries. So it becomes a bit more smarter and it's not as static as when we started this journey. We also have predictive maintenance. And that is critical in that, I think it's IATA during the recent conference in India, they said aircraft younger than 10 years old, in terms of grounding, we are seeing the biggest number. So it moved from 1.38, that's pre-COVID, to right now it's sitting at around 3.6% of all fleet in terms of younger than 10 years. So it's not just old aircraft. We are seeing a lot of grounding of young, new aircraft, and I'm sure most of the airlines will attest to this. The fact that we're able to do predictive maintenance, it means you have more stable schedules. You have less disruptions, and that's really what we are working towards. The second bit, which is important, is personalization. And Kenya Airways, thankfully, in July, will end up releasing a new app that more or less speaks to you. So the current app does a lot of push notification. We give you offers based on what we believe you need. The beauty of AI is that we are able, through programmatic tracking, we are able to understand and follow in terms of your needs. So we may end up giving you an offer, let's say to Nairobi, if you're a business traveler or a leisure traveler, we are giving you offers to the park. We may end up giving you the same offer to Nairobi. If you're a loyalty member, we say earn 2 times more your points. So we end up really addressing you as an individual instead of a shotgun approach where we basically target all of you with probably discounted offers. And for some people, that discount is not what appeals to them. Okay? And the last bit is optimization. And I've heard a lot around revenue management, offer order. There are a lot of optimization that for airlines end up reducing costs. And being early adopters to some of this technology, reduction of cost, and we've talked about cost and its impact on your fare a lot. Yeah? So if we reduce costs by having smarter crew scheduling, crew tracking, AI, and we are able to do better revenue management, we've seen studies, and we are doing case studies, being part of SkyTeam. How do we reduce the cost overall by using AI tools? And that will automatically translate to your fare. So if we're able to have a lower cost base, we end up passing that benefit on. So those are the key areas that we are exploring in terms of AI, most of them trying to increase efficiencies, reduce costs, and be early adopters. Because the sooner you get into some of this technology, you also avoid a bias where you end up taking in what has been created and developed for carriers out there and being part and parcel of the core development.
Hey, thank you for that. And yeah, I think, all of you have indicated, sort of the importance of AI and how it can be integrated in, various systems. But I want to also touch on something, the unintended consequences of the technology. So for example, AI hallucinations. So for those that don't know what AI hallucination is, it's like a human hallucination where it's a situation where AI produce outputs that are factually incorrect, misleading, and nonsensical. So I want to ask you, how do you mitigate the impact of AI hallucination? Because there is studies like, I think about for more complex systems, the output 70% is actually not correct. Yeah.
So let me go. AI is a pretty, I would say it's pretty new technology, and it's based on learnings. So over time, the more data you feed it, the more smarter it becomes. And where you get the hallucination piece is where the data is not accurate, or it is not relevant, or it doesn't have data. There are times you go to ChatGPT and ask it, can you tell me about, say, the traditional food of this culture? And it will go in, you know that circle it does, and then it tells you, I'm sorry, I cannot find data on this. So AI, as I said, it's still in the very early stages, if you ask me, but it deals a lot with data that it has. And if it doesn't have that data, then it will not give you the output you need. But that said, sometimes the data it has, the output it gives you, might not make sense. So you have to prompt it, or you have to feed it with more accurate data for it to give you what it is you're looking for. So I don't think you can detach the human mind or the human touch out of AI. AI is there to help, not to replace. It might replace some data analytics or data entry roles, but it will not replace the human mind.
Yeah.
Would you like to weigh in?
Yeah, yes, of course. So to add to what you were just saying, you need to train your people on how to use AI to find out those hallucinations. Yes, it will reduce over time with the size of data, with the improvement on models, et cetera, but somebody has to be sitting there saying, wait, why is this system offering $5,000 ticket on something that should cost 500? It's going crazy. So somebody has to be able to see that and do something about it. So this is a great point. You cannot replace people. You have to actually train them. You might reduce some, but you have to train them on how to use AI and what to watch out for, and make sure to fix it as we go. That's about it on my side.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously the skepticism around AI is, I would say that it's really necessary, and it's healthy, right? I mean, everyone can ask why and what and how and what if it goes wrong. And how at RTS what we are doing is we are addressing this issue with three key areas. One is the explainability component, right? So whatever the decision is being taken has to be interpretable in a very simple way by a user or human basically, and that really helps. And the second part, second point, the important point is the POCs. You shouldn't go with all out with the AI. I mean, it can really backfire. I would say that, right? So go with the high value and very small, low-hanging use cases, which you can automate it, right? You begin with that. And the third part is that always, partner with the right, the team and the right company. And RTS, we offer, the modular ways to implement these kind of solutions, basically, where we implement the small use cases, or let's say for one route, right, or one segment, we implement those kind of solutions. So this is how we are addressing the skepticism, and rest, I think our panelists have spoken.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I will want to stress, and I'm just looking at it as ourselves, thank you, ourselves and SAA were the first adopters of e-ticket technology. This nowadays is a given in the industry. So sometimes new technology by nature can scare you, and it should scare you. But it doesn't mean you shy away from the benefit it's going to bring. Yeah. I saw yesterday, UK schools have been allowed to use AI for grading and communicating to parents, writing letters. So the world is taking steps towards use and integration of AI in their systems. And I believe as airlines, if you look at the positives, of course, there has to be ethical AI, there has to be human element, oversight, but we have to take this step. We have to move because the benefits definitely outweigh the challenges.
Okay, thank you for that. So I think, yeah, there is a big perception about AI replacing humans, but it is clear that humans are still very much needed with AI. So I just want to, kind of address sort of the next question, which I recently came from another conference, AI conference, and it was just like sort of the key theme. For AI to work, you need data and a whole lot of data. So two things. Regulations, you've got a lot of countries that have got, for example, in Europe, general data protection regulations, kind of that governs how data can be used. So how do you kind of overcome those regulations? Because you need a lot of data to be able to train your machines.
I think regulation is important, and it's around building systems that incorporate regulation and looking at how do you use regulation for your advantage. And what am I talking about? It's around data privacy. So we just talked about data, and some of this data is your personal data that gets into AI and is misused. How do you then protect this? So one of the ways to look at it is to ensure that your systems are regulatory tech ready, in the sense that if you're processing customer data in certain jurisdictions, and those jurisdictions require you to keep that data on soil. Case in point, we just talked about GDPR, where the regulation requires that any customer data for EU is kept within the EU borders. We have that requirement here in Tanzania as well. We have that requirement in multiple markets. In South Africa, we have that requirement. So it's around making sure that whoever you partner with in terms of your tech partners, your payment partners, they have systems that are able to meet these regulatory requirements that protect yourselves as an airline and as well the customer data so that it is not misused.
Yeah.
Would you like to weigh in, Hassan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, me? Okay. So like I said, that in terms of data, when we need a lot of data for these kind of technologies and with a lot of, restrictions in terms of what you can use because it's a confidential and PII or GDPR and all these things happens. What we do normally is that at least at RTS, we try to generate the synthetic data. Again, using AI, obviously, which is very close to the real data, basically, right? And we can overcome, a lot of missing data or low quality data using those kind of AI technologies. And when we are building a modular solutions, what we are doing is we are not just relying on just what AI is producing, but then there is another technology which we are using as a guardrail, right? To really ensure that whatever is being produced by AI is not like blindly accepted, and over-reliance is not always good. So basically, we are just augmenting a whole decision-making process, basically, with the decision-centric AI. And that's how we are addressing, these kind of challenges or skepticism around the data, scarcity or low-quality data, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, being in aviation, I don't believe we have a shortage on how to create rules and regulations.
Yeah.
I think we even do too much of that. And the beauty is there's a generation behind us, the digital natives, that are willing and ready, the people with the Spotify playlist that more or less has predicted all their music tastes. So people do, and the generations behind are willing to commit in terms of data, access their own data and sharing it. And actually, to even the rest of us, I'm just remembering I had a trip 2 weeks ago, Dubai, and I went through their Smart e-Gate, Dubai Vision box. And when I was about to pull my passport, and I'm sure some of you have experienced this on the Smart Gate, it had already read my iris, I am not a resident of Dubai, and opened the gate. And I'm thinking, who gave it the allowance? And how much of my biometrics are stored within Dubai or UAE? So ultimately, because of the nature of the work we are in the industry, you will find it makes access easier, and some of us are a bit apprehensive, but ultimately you look at where it will lead us, what we want to do, the generations coming behind us, and what we want from our airlines. So one of the ways is, and I insist on this, co-creation. We have to be part and parcel of the discussion. We have to be able to protect our own views as African carriers and what we believe in as Africans. And also, we have to be able to work together, and I'm looking at the bigger grouping of airlines. AFRA is in the house, the Alliance is also in the house, where we are able to have that ideal and use cases so that we already can preempt what happens in Seychelles, what happens in Namibia, Kenya, etc. We can be able to collect those views and see what works best as the African approach to the AI discussion.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other challenges of implementing AI, especially in the context of the African continent?
Just to add a point about the GDPR, previous GDPR, make sure whoever you deal with is GDPR compliant, that's all. And compliant with all rules and regulations. And it's a simple thing to check that whatever they're offering you as systems are compliant with those things. That's the short answer to that previous question. So sorry, go ahead again.
Any other challenges that you can think of, especially in the context of the African continent, of implementing AI?
I would say over-reliance, right? I mean, we really need to make sure that we are not over-relying on AI itself. I mean, humans are there to really guide it and work as a business partner or a partner of AI, and then make a decision, informed decision accordingly. So that is one challenge we have to really take care of, I would say, in addition to what other people said.
I think for the Africa continent, the same way we leapfrogged on mobile fast, where when computers came, we were behind. But now we went straight to mobile, and we are a mobile fast society. I think for AI, it will be the same. We'll leapfrog and be the fast adapters for AI. I think I'd earlier talked about the credit scoring on mobile wallets, which targets a very huge population of an unbanked population in Africa. So it will be the same. Through those mobile technology, you find more and more Africans will adapt to AI faster than any other region.
Correct.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. If you allow me to add, I think just speaking to alliances and the collection of airlines, AI needs big data. It makes sense of data that we hire analysts for. And ultimately, by working together as a collective, the big data access is where the challenge is. And having it GDPR compliant and all the other regulations in terms of how long you can hold on to my data, etc. So just being able to come together and share that data where we can see together and have those use cases, that's what will help us leapfrog in terms of technology.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you want to add in before I introduce the last question?
Most airlines here, I think, including yourself, obviously, have embarked on the customer centricity and retail journey. All these same airlines will have no issue moving into AI. The only challenge will be with airlines that haven't done that work yet, and that haven't started the journey of airline retailing and customer centricity. But everybody else, I think here, it won't be a problem.
Okay, thank you for that. So generally, the uptake of AI has been quite slow, especially in the airline industry. So we've got all the industry here, African operators. What do you want to tell them, to allay their fears about AI?
for me, AI is the future. You need to take baby steps. There's no rush. And it's around looking at where is your biggest pain point. Already the early adapters are using it for customer chatbots, using it for predictive analysis in terms of customization for ancillary services, payment options as well. So it's around looking at where your need is and seeing how quickly can you use AI, one, to save you costs, or two, to create for you new market opportunities or new customer segments that you are not able to target before. We talk about the Gen Z. The Gen Z is the population I was referring to that will be the quick adapters to AI. And these are your future business class traveler, future people who will be traveling. They'll be looking for buy now, pay later payment options when they are planning for their holiday because they want to travel, they want to experience high-end travel, they want to go to the Caribbean, to Asia. It's not like our generation where travel for you was something you did later in life. For them, they want to experience life now. How are you proposing your product to that generation? How relevant are your products, whether it's your app, whether it's your website, OTAs? How are you propositioning your product to that audience that is AI ready? And they're very early adapters to AI. So for me, that's the challenge that you need to think about. Are you AI ready for that generation? Thank you.
Hassan?
Oh, yes, of course.
Please.
I don't think that most of the airlines here need a lot of encouragement. I think most of them already know that. If you don't, you can literally ask ChatGPT to give you a 30-day program to train yourself on understanding AI. It's the easiest way to do it without going into data, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can talk to your software partners that you are, system partners, et cetera, and see what are the next things that you could do in all those areas that were discussed today. Just do it. That's all I was going to say. Thank you.
I had, based on what you said earlier about, having being partner and what you said just now, and I'm sorry if I had a different view. I would say that AI is not just the future; it's already in the in flight. Actually, it's in the flight. We are just on that particular track already. And now it's a matter of how we can treat as, whether as like you said, or whether it's like a scalable tool which can help human intelligence in much more better, or advanced way, right? So I mean, like you said, it's not what we can teach any airline here in this room or including my friend, but you can get, AI knowledge on yourself in like 1 day, 2 day, or a week's time, basically. Like you said, like 3 weeks. Instead of 3 weeks, it took, 1 day or maybe 30 minutes, right? So that's how I view it.
Yeah, I think the closing from my part, and yes, I fully agree that we've already implemented aspects. Kenya Airways, we already have disruption management that I end up being in your phone. I think anyone flying back, you already get the alerts in terms of if there's a gate change, if there's a time change, etc. And we want to move this into baggage. Baggage is one of the big pain points. We see it from our NPS scores. We want to be able to reconcile you to your bag faster because the industry standard, we know there are people who are almost guaranteed of misplacing a bag. Yeah. So it's just reconciling you to that bag faster, ensuring we manage your travel anxiety. I was just having a chat where, in terms of the flight, if we are changing it, am I still on the flight, etc. Just managing that, ensuring we are directly communicating to you. And then we move on to personalization. So there are big benefits to be had. I think one of the biggest ones we've actually just onboarded also is seamless check-in, where you use the KQ app in any of our partner airlines. You're able to check in. We are currently trying it or doing it with the SkyTeam carriers. But you're able to check in, let's say, into a Korean air flight. So the same ecosystem you're used to, you do not need to go to their website where you have to translate the language or change the settings. You just use the same app you have to be able to connect to 18, 19 airlines in that ecosystem. So there are ways that we are already applying this, it's just accelerating it, and being careful of the safeguards.
Okay, thank you very much. It is clear from the insight from the panelists that there is a clear case for AI, but it's also important to acknowledge the unintended consequences so we can also mitigate those consequences and like really leverage this amazing technology to grow the African aviation industry. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Refilwe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone
Nice
else
talk.
drink this water?
I did.
Nice talk, John.